Hello, this is my book review of Seahorse in the Sky by Edmund Cooper. This is a 1970 copy, a book club edition by Putnam, I think. This book is no longer in print, and I don't think you can find it on ebook or anything, so this is one of the first vintage copies that's kind of important to me, so I decided to delete my old video, which was just showing the cover, and to do a bit more of a longer review. That's not really going to be in depth. I don't have a planned script or anything. I just sort of wrote down some notes and I'm going to think about them out loud. I also think I just need to show this cover off a bit more because I didn't really do it justice. First of all, this is not really the cover. This is a dusk jacket. I think that's what it's called. The actual cover is just blue. I'm not going to take it off all the way because it's a little difficult. But, very simple. I actually really love this color. It reminds me of Zima Blue from that episode of Love, Death, and Robots. But there is not too much information on here. Just the title, some very basic information. I don't know if I've seen an ISBN number. I might have to look through. It has one, obviously, but I don't know if it's even listed on the book. It was only $15 on Etsy, I think. You have some... Oh, you see, book club edition. It also has, on the top here, some yellowing. And this, I don't know my book terminology. I also need to be a better camera person. Let me take this out for a second. We have some blue and yellow right here, which I think is just a nice little treat on top. I don't know, it's not really that interesting of a cover. I'm just kind of obsessed with it at the moment. Especially because I cannot find too many people talking about this story. And to me, it feels like such a classic story. It feels like a Arthur C. Clarke or Isaac Asimov tale. But it isn't. It's like unknown. So I think what this cover is trying to show is this is the green coffin, this thing with the eyeball in the middle. And this is some kind of reflection, maybe. I don't think it's actually meant to be, like, exact. It's sort of just meant to be visual showcasing of elements within the story. But this is the place where it takes place mostly, is this little expansive road. I pictured it differently, actually, because I wasn't looking at this most of the time. I had this off most of the time. So I was imagining all this stuff differently in my own head. And there is a different cover, which shows something later on in the story, which is very important. And I think it's maybe a better cover than this one. But I do love the yellow, and I love the font of this. It's so nice. But what we have here is an apartment, or a hotel, rather, and a supermarket next to each other. And it's described that there are 2 unfunctional cars. And so 8 men and 8 women who were on a Arlanda airport flight from Stockholm to London. Randomly, they don't have any memory of how or when it exactly happened, I don't think. I think it's sort of a fuzzy blackout thing that happened. They just remember being on the flight, and then they woke up here in 8 green coffins, which is really interesting. It's shown here, I think. This might not be, I don't know. But I think this is trying to show as the green coffin as this oval thing. I pictured it differently. They described it almost like the Xbox 360 controller where you can see the, like, digital inside. Because it's not, like, just... It's described as really hard plastic, but more like metal. And there's, like, some insides, and it's slightly translucent. And it's also... The substance is used in other structures later, which might be what these are representing. That ship is it's only mentioned at the end of the story, so it's kind of interesting that they put it here. I need to catch up my breath. I don't care. I'm not doing this for YouTube. I'm doing this for myself. And I'm not a YouTuber, so when I speak for a long time, my voice gets a little high and I get a little shaky. But these people, I'm guessing... This is what this is trying to represent, because we have some people that are obviously not modern humans. This person is writing what is called a pulpo. Or a pulpa? Pulpo? I can't even remember. A pupil. That's what it is. A pupil. Or a pupil? I can't remember, but it's sort of like a mix between a deer and like a horse. It's just from another planet. And so what happens is they arrive in this place. Everyone's confused. The main character is Russell Graham. He's a Parliament member. He's boring as fuck, to be honest. All these characters are kind of shallow. They have emotions and they have some interest and like uniqueness to them, but they don't really like their inner lives before aren't really all that important to the story. They kind of all are just like, it's like, I don't know. They're all cooperative, and I shouldn't be mad at them all being cooperative and smart, because they make smart decisions, and it's really entertaining. It reminds me of 1982, The Thing, and that cast, and how they work together, which is really good, but it's almost too perfect. Like, anytime they make a mistake, it's like a very deliberate mistake, and it doesn't feel... I didn't feel like there was any conflict, and yet I also did sort of have like an underlying sense that conflict was going to come, and it never really did. It came in little short bursts when I didn't expect it to, which is good, but it's also not. I don't know. I'm very conflicted on this story because I did enjoy it a lot, but it's just different. Maybe it's just the pacing, something about it, and the downsides of this book. Let's talk about that before I go deeper. Not really too many, but there is, obviously, this is from 1970. I don't know if I mentioned that. This is the copy from 1970. It was published, the story, originally in 1969 on paperback. And it is a little sexist. I mean, you can't really avoid that with stuff this long ago. When I was reading, I was able to push past it because it wasn't that big a deal. And they're just talking about women versus men because they have half and half of there, and it's a part of the topic. But then the racism is it's like really annoying. Every single ethnic character is described solely by their skin, and the women are all sexualized a lot, and they don't really do anything else besides that. And there's like 3 19-year-olds who are students, and they're like, I think they like their teacher, and then the main character also is like, he has his wife, I think, and then he has another person. There's like a throuple situation. I don't know. The loyalty and the character dynamics are just a little weird, so I don't really care about anyone's morals or how they feel about themselves as a person or in relation to each other. But it's still entertaining, so I guess it has that for it. The stuff that I really don't like, that I could still push past that stuff too. But what I really didn't like is they later bring up these tribe-based people, and they describe them as animals, basically. They describe them as not having an inner consciousness. They educate them with, like, English methods of education, all that sort of stuff. And it's just really fucking gross. And they have a sex scene, specifically, where they describe them having sex, and they straight up say that they aren't making love. That there's no, like, intimacy, there's no emotional aspect. They describe them as sort of 2 animals who are just stressed out, and they have sex. And that's sort of supposed to be like a nexus point in the story for their education, so they can go beyond their savage ways. And that pisses me off. That's not entertaining. And it's so annoying because they do it the same thing with these medieval people way better. They have these medieval people who are like a bit step above that. They're the ones who have these pupils, and they interact with these people. They find each other. They all realize they're not from the same earth, but they're all humanoid, and they can all speak to each other, even though they have different languages. I won't explain all of it, so you can read it yourself. But the medieval people and the modern people work really well together, and it does not feel forced at all. They communicate. They have this warrior aspect. Russell's relationship with Abzu Marur or some shit, I forget. I just remember as Abzu. That's the main medieval guy. He's like the leader of his sept, and they have this like culture that isn't exactly specified, but you get echoes and remnants, and they sort of learn it implicitly just by behaving with each other, and it's just a really cool dynamic. And I hate that they went from that to just abducting slaves, and then, yeah, that's what it happens. That's what it continues to do. I should have said spoiler warning. I guess I'll put a spoiler warning on the description or something. I don't care. This is a book from the 1960s. You should buy it if you want to read it. The There's a lot more I could discuss. There's so much in this book. There's knights, there's robots, there's fairies, there's seahorses, there's a giant green bulb called the Orb of Life that they have to get to at the end. They're actually in sort of a prison, their area. I won't describe exactly how. It's like trapped in a certain way, and they theorize early on that they're in a sort of zoo, which is not exactly correct, but it does have something to do with the end lore. And the final lore at the end of it does get like cosmic level. They have sort of an explanation of why everybody's here, and it has a really good twist that I think is really entertaining. I'm going to have to end this very soon because my headphones are about to die and I don't want to get cut off. But this is a good book. I really think you should get it. Books are getting destroyed by AI, so anything vintage, get it now. I haven't read anything else by Edmund Cooper, but I'll definitely have to check him out because he's sort of a mid-level sci-fi author that never really got outside of his bubble. Not many people read him now, from what I know. And I had no idea. I just saw this suggested, and I thought, this is a classics, probably, so I'll get it. And I did not know that this is a lesser-known story that is so good, but also sort of complicated, and it sits on a chair, and I think about it a lot. Not necessarily in a I love it aspect, but just in a wow, this is an interesting experience, and I'm going to continue to visit this upon the future. It has interesting questions to pose. It has cool ideas and thoughts. It has interesting depictions of technology. The characters are a little bit stale, though. So that's my review of Edmund Cooper's Seahorse in the Sky.